Hey everyone, this is JoeLeMiracleMan, and this is an episode of God and Money in Real Estate. I have a special guest with us today, Dave Gallogly. Tell us what you do, Dave.
Hey Joe, I'm so honored to be here on your podcast. I'm a licensed realtor here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm kind of unique in that I also am a licensed general contractor. We flip houses, we have rental houses, and really my passion is helping people find deals or helping them sell their houses as a realtor.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for being on here, and you have a lot of wisdom to share, a lot of experience. Can you go into your background a little bit and your experience?
Oh, absolutely. Joe, I have been for the last 13 years working as a general contractor. I'm going to start off with that. This is going to be my history. And I've always had rentals, and I've always done work on houses. And with the downturn in the economy, we saw the Great Recession, we saw an opportunity as an investor to buy houses that needed some love and actually bring them back to their former glory. And so we would come in and do anything from a facelift that maybe cost $15,000, $20,000 to a full rehab, a new kitchen, bathrooms, plumbing, furnaces, roof, over 100,000. And so over the course of those years, we've done 86 houses here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. So that was always kind of exciting. And I had a business partner who actually was the realtor in that side. What I found was this, is that I was pretty active in my church. Joe and you and I both go to the same church.
Yep.
And I found people were constantly asking me for input. And I was going out looking at houses for them. I was going out giving them advice. I was giving them input on what they could do, helping them negotiate what they should do. After they looked at a house, and they wanted to come back with the inspection report, what they should be doing. And I thought, well, actually, someone actually said to me, hey, why aren't you a realtor? So I actually became a realtor. And that was really a great thing. I think for a couple reasons. One of them was I was able to legitimate what I actually did in helping people. And I was able to help them all the way through. And so one of my strengths is that we go out and I meet with a client and they tell me what let's say if they want to buy a house. And they tell me what type of things that they're looking for. And I think the real trick for me is to try to find out between the lines. People don't always know what they want. So we have kind of a technique that we do to help people fine-tune what they're looking for and help them get past all the small details when looking at a house to really see if this is a great house that can become their home.
Can you give us an example of that checklist and some of the questions you might be asking?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is what I found. I always ask people, what are you looking for? And they say, well, I'm looking for 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-stall garage. I want to be in Maple Grove. And that's all good. It's kind of like big picture things. But one thing that we do is this, especially if somebody's a first-time home buyer and even a second-time home buyer. Someone's been doing it and they're my age and they've gone through 4 or 5 homes or whatever. Maybe it's a little different. But these first-time home buyers, they really don't know for sure what they want. They think they do. And that isn't always the case, but normally it is. So one thing we do is this. We get this criteria, what they're looking for. And I said, what we're going to do is go look at 6 houses. We're not going to actually like any of these houses. Okay? We're not going to put any offers on any of them. I'm kind of setting the stage right then. But we're going to go into these houses and we're going to walk through and try to figure out what we like and what we don't like. And how these houses, because we buy with emotion, how these houses make us feel. So we'll start out, and usually what we'll do through the course of that, when we get to about the 4th house, about 5 minutes into it, because people know really pretty quick if they like it or don't like it. So 5 minutes into it, I say, thumbs up, thumbs down. And we might still look, but they get to the point that, okay, I do know generally if it's something I like. Because of what we have found through the years is that people go into a house and they get stuck in all the details. Oh, I want to look at the bathroom. I want to look at the kitchen. I want to look at over here. What's over in that corner? And they lose track of the big picture that they're really looking for their home. Might sound kind of a little bit different. And so we'll actually walk up to a house and get an example the first day. We'll walk up with a couple, first-time home buyers, and we'll look at the front of the house. I'm like, what do you see? And they'll tell me, well, I see this house, and it's great. I like it. And why do you like it? How does this make you feel? Well, I feel comfortable. How's the neighborhood look? And we'll stand there and we'll turn around and do a 360. What do you think of the neighborhood? Well, that house over there looks kind of run down, or, oh, they're all really nice houses. Okay, great. So then we open up the door. Open the door up, and we stop. How does this make you feel? Well, I don't like it when I walk in. There's a door right in front of me. I might have a closet there, right? Or it's a maybe they were open to split levels, and they're like, I walk in and you got stairs right away. Huh? I don't like that. Right? Okay. So maybe we eliminate split levels for that reason. So we slowly are fine-tuning the things that they like and the things that they don't like. So when we get to the fourth house, again, we can walk in, and they walk in the front door. They do the assessment on the outside. They do the assessment on the inside, the first. Walk in, a few steps, 5 minutes in. Okay, what do you think? Duh, duh. And I find most of the time they're super impressed with that, because it's like, well, yeah, we don't need to waste our time here. Let's go look at some more. So that way we can get through 6 houses in 3 hours. And we might do that 3 times, and 3 times we've gone through 18 houses. Without, I found often with realtors, they'll go through one house and another house, and by the time you set up the appointment, drive to the appointment, spend an hour in the house, leave there, go home, you spent 3 hours for someone that's out looking at it. And if you do that 18 times, you're kind of getting wore down. And so we want to be very efficient of how we can help you fine-tune what you're looking for. And that's one of the techniques that's worked really well.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great feedback about your process and how you make clients feel comfortable. So, well, let's talk about the interesting market that we're in. So Minnesota right now is on a shelter-in-place order that just started kind of the end of March here. So, yeah, give us an update on the market and what you foresee in the near future.
Absolutely. Well, we're in new times. This time of the year, we should be just going full bore, spring market, buyers and sellers, a lot of activity. And when we go back to the beginning of this year, we were up substantially over last year at January 1st, that first week. And what we look at is how many showings are happening in the metro area of Minneapolis-St. Paul. And we see this curve of last year, and it really starts at the slowest time is that first week of January. And we see this curve just going up at a pretty good rate up through about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. And we were up over last year's number, which last spring was a super great spring for activity and such. But then literally 2 weeks ago, we saw the bottom start dropping. And this is in showings, right? So we saw the showings dropping substantially. I haven't looked at the last couple of days, but it's probably close to what we would have saw the beginning of January at an all-time low for the year for the amount of showings. And so with the order that's gone into effect, the Minnesota Realtors Association is basically telling us that we are not allowed to do any open houses in person. We can do virtual open houses. And we can, if we're going to go out and look at houses with a buyer to actually buy a home, they would like us to do everything we can to pre-qualify them beforehand. So we're looking at pictures, we're discussing, we're looking at details, as much as we can of the information we have from the selling realtor on that particular home. And then a last resort, if we're really interested and might want to buy this, we actually are setting up a showing and going into the home. They're asking that the homeowners of the house that's actually being sold for them to know that you're coming in. And if they want you to come, great. If they say, no, we don't want, and that's okay. We're just often they're taking their house off the market. They don't want to show at that point. It's super understandable. But if they're open for showings, they're asking the homeowners to turn on all the lights, open all the doors, and leave the front door unlocked. So that when we get there, all I have to do is have my surgical gloves on, open the drawer, and we go inside. We look around. We don't touch anything. We don't turn on any lights, and we do a look and we leave. So times have changed a lot.
Yeah, that is interesting. So, do you still feel like it's a good time for buyers right now to buy?
I think it is. From a buyer's standpoint, this is my thoughts. I think we're going to see sellers are noticing that there's really very few showings that are going on in their houses. If someone is under a time frame where they need to sell their home, they're going to feel some pressure. There's not many people for competition out looking at the houses. So if you're a home buyer and you're really looking to what you want to buy, I think there's some opportunity to find some deals just for that reason. We saw a lot of houses start coming on the market. So we're still, inventory is low, but with the amount of showings being that much lower, I think it's a decent time. And I don't know, none of us have a crystal ball what's going to happen with the virus and how that's going to continue to affect people and how long it's going to affect people. It could be anywhere where some are saying, well, we're going to see the market dump. I don't think it's going to dump. I think we're going to see a blimp. I think there's going to be an opportunity to buy some things.
Yeah. Yeah, and on my side, I am getting a lot of purchase applications still. So we're still busy pre-qualifying people. Rents are extremely high. So, there's always that motivation to lower a monthly payment and own the home instead of renting a home. And then also there's a lot of research that I've been doing the past year that supports rising home prices. Of course, interest rates are extremely low right now with the coronavirus in the market. So just mathematically, when the interest rate's lower, and if you want your monthly payment to stay the same, you can actually buy a bigger home. So just mathematically, so with interest rates going lower, that helps people buy, a higher price point. But then I did some research on the population ages of people in America. So I'll have to send a link to a graph that I saw. But the median home buying age, you know what that is, Dave? I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
I don't.
Median age. So of course it's the millennials, right? But it's age 34. So half of the home buyers are over that, and half the home buyers are under that. So that's the median age. So if you look at the number of 34-year-olds in America, but then you look at the people who are younger than 34, so 33, 32, 31, so on, for the next, until 8 years or so to 26 years old, that population is increasing over time. So so there's going to be more people who are turning 34 next year than there are now. And then the year after that, there'll be more people, who are currently 32 who in 2 years will become 34. And the ones who are 34 today may not buy this year, so they might be looking again next year and so on. So with more demand, basically, that's going to keep the prices high. I think it's going to slow down the appreciation for the next 12 months, but I don't think it's going to be a negative appreciation. So
I think that's really fascinating.
It is. So, this is God and money. So, we're both disciples of Christ.
Amen.
How do you feel like that ties into your business?
Uh, it actually ties in lots, a couple different fronts. One of them is, I'm just going to say from a business standpoint, as a realtor, my business varies a lot from month to month, just income wise. This is that side of it. And I'm just faithful that if I do what's right, which is the second part I'm going to talk about, God just takes care of me personally, takes me and my family. But I think the part I was talking about that I do is that I have a real conviction that my job is to service my customer. And it's not about the paycheck. I get paid to do it, but my job is to find somebody a home or help them sell their home, and the best of my ability to guide them through that process. I have a client that was looking at buying a first-time home buyer, and he is going through a situation at work where he might lose his job, and he has a PA on a house. And just, I suppose I could have kind of helped him process through that, but I just knew that he needed to not do this deal. So he was feeling a lot of stress. So we actually talked about it. We talked about spiritual things, and hey, God's looking out over top of this. And if it's His will, He's going to help us process through this. And either you're going to continue to have your work, and we're going to be able to close on this house, or He's going to give you an out to be able to get out of the house, out of the contract that you have with your buyer. So to me, that's very, very rewarding, because it's so much more than just the house. It's people, working with them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I face the same decisions, to serve customers and not worry about the paycheck, because we know that God will provide for us. But where the focus is to serve and love people. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome. Cool. Well, any, I guess, parting thoughts as we wrap up today's episode?
Yeah, one thing we didn't talk about was sellers.
Yeah.
And this is just my thought. I think of the first-time home buyers and sellers that are a little younger than me. Is I feel like they're my children to a certain degree, and I just look out after them. And I think in today's time, if someone was going to sell their home, I'm not a genie, and you don't have to sell it right now, but you need to here sometime. I'd probably hold off till maybe the fall. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We know that there's a downturn in the actual showing. So if you're buying, I think there's some opportunities. As an actual selling, I'd probably hold off till maybe July, start putting that on there so you hit the market in August. And I think it's going to be more robust again. I think the spring market is going to be a little bit up and down. And that's just my opinion. And I'd love to help anybody at that point if they need help.
Well, I appreciate your heart to love and help people and better their situation. And thanks again for being on the show.
Oh, you're welcome, Joe. I sure appreciate all the work you do. You've been a great partner, working with you and helping my clients get loans, and it's they've been super happy with your service. So thank you.
Sounds good. And we'll see everyone here on God and Money and Real Estate again next week. We'll see you then.